Okay, got the dash in. Took the speedometer out because the pin that comes up through the speedometer needle drive gear was broken off from the needle post. And so I think I'm going to see if I can find a replacement speedometer for that. I think what I'm going to do next is try to get this floor in. And once I get the floor in, then I should be pretty well ready to put the seat in here. And then it should be drivable, I do believe. Screwdriver here. Now, what did I do with my flashlight? Okay, flashlight is accounted for. Looks to me like I need 4 screws to hold that in. About like this one, and quite likely this one. This is for the flange around the steering column and the pedals. Screw that in first. Of course, it'd be nice if I was doing this for the final time and having nice stuff put in here, but for now we're just trying to get her moved, so don't really like working that way, but sometimes you ain't got much choice. Of course, back in 1948, the majority of your screws were straight slot, which is good in some ways and bad in some ways. Straight slot doesn't seem to have as much problem stripping out as Phillips head screws do, cross points or whatever you want to call them. But they're a little bit harder to use. And one thing that I did notice working on this truck is, even though this thing is considerably older than I am, which is already old, but don't tell anybody, I never really found too many screws that I couldn't take out. Or I've had vehicles that were only 10 years old and I try to get screws out and you bust them off and everything else because they're so rusted in. Something though that might be interesting about this truck is when I bought it, it actually only had approximately 50,000 miles on it. We figured the original, or the guy that I bought it from was the second owner, and he had driven it from Washington State out here into the Midwest, Indiana, and he said approximately halfway through the trip, it was about a 3,000 mile trip, about halfway through, the speedometer broke on it, and so you figure about 1,500 miles that he put on after the speedometer broke, and the speedometer reads 42,000 or something like that. And he drove it some afterwards, not very much. But anyways, at any rate, it's a fairly low mileage truck for as old as it is. Alright, now this here needs to go here, here, and on these screws. I about bet you that this little rubber grommet is supposed to be, well, no. It should be right just like that. spray all the well. So I think I'll put the bottom screws in first. And that should line that up, theoretically. Not everything works theoretically. One. Last screw. I think I might have to see if I can find a spring for the accelerator pedal. That one there was broken off. I got some springs, so I should have one that come pretty close. Might not be exact. Alright. What do you know? That thing here is quite loose. I just assume it wasn't. Not sure why it was. Okay, now I'm going to pause this again, and I'm going to get ready to do this other panel. I think while I've got you on pause, I got to make sure that I have brake fluid, plenty of brake fluid in the reservoir. I'm going to show you real quick how you check the brake fluid on this truck. See that? Be nice if it would focus in on it, but that little nut right there, that's a cap. You gotta stick this down through the floor of the truck. Don't think everything they did back then was great. And this was not a great idea, trust me. And of course, mind you, you don't have this opening here normally to do this. You gotta reach down through the floor and do this. And there is fluid in there. And that's all I care about. Okay. Okay, I found a spring that'll pretty well work for this accelerator pedal, I do believe. So now it's just a matter of putting this floor on, pull the parking brake back, and we can put all this up on there. 3 of 3, alrighty. Now I'm going to just start it up once and shut it back down again, I think. Now I'm going to put a little water in the radiator. I noticed that it was sort of steaming earlier. Okay, one final start up and then that's it for the night. Now I got to find my keys. One reason I don't have to hump for my head very often is just because it's pretty well attached. It follows me around a lot. Keys and stuff like that need to be attached, I guess. I don't know. Alright, boy, it'd be neat to be sitting up on the seat on this. Okay, still in neutral. I don't know. I know I'm doing something with this camera because I'm losing my focus ability. Well, it focused finally. Alright, my truck, man. Alright. That's it for the night.